1.
Good afternoon. Hope you're all well. Is anyone here? So welcome. Just say a quick hello in the chat. And it's the last day of the season, I believe, in the Swedish Superettan. That's why we're getting loads of goals there. So welcome. Looks like catching up. I'll just mute myself. Hi, Alan. Nice to see you. Take it you can see and hear everything okay. Hi, Trevor. Nice to see you as well. Stephen and Paul. Great to see you all. So Swedish Superettan will be, hi Michael, will be the first port of call because it's the last day of the season. Swedish Superettan, Swedish Allsvenskan. Hi Bosun, hi Colin, hi Alan again. Great, you can see and hear everything, brilliant. So got to set up the Swedish Superettan. I've got my odds on, I've got my over 2.5 goals set up here. So we'll see how that gets on today. German Bundesliga, pretty much all of them in the category. And this was a separate analysis for overs. Tally it up with the fact that we know the Bundesliga is full of goals. 67% or something. Let's have a quick look. It's gone down a little bit. But if you tally the right teams together, we can see there 64% overs so far. So we'll have a look into that today. So I'll get alerted. You see Real Madrid had to win after that loss against AC Milan midweek. We've got the same with Chelsea today. Not Chelsea, Manchester City. 3 consecutive defeats. So let's get the prayer mat out. Hope that their opponents score first. Hi Mango. Hi Robert. Nice to see you all. Hi Tim. Nice to see you all for the last live stream for a short while with the international break. And I'll be taking an international break to Guernsey in December. Looking forward to that. See the old folks and some old friends. So French Ligue 2, Paris FC are top of the league. It's 0-0, 74th minute. That's why I've got that one identified. Did have a 0-0 recently away at Amiens. That was our last away match. That was disappointing. I seem to remember that one. They have not conceded in the last 2 away. They are top of the league, so you'd think they want to get rid of this draw-itis, very sharpish, against the side failing to score in the last 3 and conceding 2 goals at least in the last 3. So get poised, have a look, see whether this draw is low enough for you to want to have a go. Starting to light up the attacking pressure index and just chipping away, unspectacular shots on target, only the 2. Plenty of shots off, 5 second half and 3 second half corners. So chipping away, very unspectacular. But the fact is they're top of the league. I'm sure they won't be keen to end that draw-itis. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Bye Jerusalem. Well, they've been very, very quiet for a 1.61 home favourite. Likely to be a little illiquid today, the Liga Ha'al, so we don't really need concentrate too much on it. This one, it's the Turkish One League with the 1.7 home favourite. That's why I was interested in that one. And
Goal. Brezhakazensa is 0-1.
Serie A.
Goal. Jif Sundsvalgavliv is 1-0.
Venezia is over 2.5 goals today on the list, and they've delivered. 33 minutes in, I think. Yeah, 33 minutes in. Surely this draw is gettable. Newly promoted side could be vulnerable or could be eyeing the end of a poor streak. Although
Goal. Brezhakazensa is 0-1.
Against Udinese, can they? And Parma, for their part, as you can see, they've had that draw-itis, which ended last match with Genoa. I'm sure we took that one on. We must have taken on that draw-itis there. Again, keen for the win. Playing the right kind of a team to get the win and priced as well. 3.2 outside is not a big outsider by any stretch. They did actually score. No, they didn't. They equalised against Venezia. So one to keep an eye on. Serie A, newly promoted Venezia could be vulnerable. Parma, I think, newly promoted as well. So eyeing the 3 points they're expecting, I think, to win. Pisa and Samp, top of the league, Serie B. So well worth keeping an eye on. That's why I've got them up there. Superettan. Well, we'll have to make sure that we're only focusing in the Superettan on teams with need. Thanks to Bosun last week for reminding us that the Scandinavian leagues are coming to an end. This is where these live standings are going to prove to be really well worth following. They're going to show you the fluctuations as each goal comes in. So I've put them into my watch list now, so I will be alerted whenever a goal comes in. We're looking for teams with need. We're going to be avoiding dead rubbers. So let's quickly see if we can get rid of matches we don't need to be following on the last day of the season because they've got nothing to play for. So Degerfors, they can't be caught at the top, can they? No one can catch them. So that's fine. Degerfors and Oster. Oster still got plenty to play for. Landskrona are breathing down their necks. Helsingborg are eyeing the win because that will be an automatic promotion to the Allsvenskan. So Oster, Landskrona, Helsingborg, plenty to play for. Degerfors, nothing. But Oster, do they have anything to play for? So let's look at that. I remember Oster from last week. They had all the O's last week. Oster, plenty to play for. So that's not over. Oster, you'd be targeting to get the win here, like they did last week, I believe. Got a very, very late equaliser or a win to set them up with a chance at the title, or at least to cement automatic promotion. That was a very exciting. Oh no, they were the comfortable O's last week. There was Oddevold as well and Orgrit. So Helsingborg and Orgrit, let's have a look individually because they'll be highlighted in the standings. I don't know if there'll be live standings, but we'll have a look. Helsingborg, plenty to play for, or is there? Because this is already factoring in the draw. Add 2 points for the win, and we're looking at the goal difference, which is very poor. So I think they'd be keen to get the win, but I think goal difference is problematic unless Landskrona lose, of course. So still, it's alive still for Helsingborg. If Landskrona concede, Helsingborg will be pushed. Sandviken got nothing to play for. At the bottom, I suggest it will be very busy, but Skovda down and out. Gefler will be targeted in. So no, this is the furthest that Sundsvall can get today. So they're looking at cementing relegation playoff. Sundsvall, Östersund, Gefler and Skovda. Looks as if Oddevold are safe. They did all the work last week, you'll recall, coming from behind to beat Braga. You're following that in the live stream. Hopefully you picked up that come from behind win when they needed it. And that's cemented their day. Who cares now for Oddevold? Job done. Sundsvall, Östersund, Gefler, Skovda. So Sundsvall, Östersund, Gefler, relegation 6-pointer. Skovda. So Oster's plenty to play for. Helsingborg.
Goal.
Still.
Pisa Sampdoria is 1-0.
It's not looking. Volt did all of the good work last week. Trelleborg, don't think they've got anything to play for. So we can just check that. And then we'll know what to target and what to avoid. So job done, just a dead rubber. Östersund and Braga. Quick look. And I'm just keeping an eye on the goals in the Bundesliga. Nothing doing just yet. So let's have a look at these. Östersund and Braga. So Östersund will be keen to get the win. So we're following that one. They must get a win, ideally, to try to get into that promotion playoff, that relegation playoff, sorry. So that 0-0 is going to be very vulnerable, particularly if it's still 0-0 or a draw, 89th, 90th minute. That's when we get involved. Skovda are down. I think Örebro did all their work last week as well. Indeed, they did. Yeah. You saw the importance of that win again. It was 1-1 and we laid the very late draw. Now you see it's paid off in spades. They can relax, but this lot needed the win to get into the top three. So painful for Helsingborg, but it's all done. This one, it's a dead rubber. Sundsvall and Gefle. It's already a 1-0. Sundsvall, again, this is the highest they can go. It's still a must win. So we're keeping that of interest. Must win. So had that been a draw, or if this becomes a draw late on, we're going to use the time pressure, get involved as late as possible because their season hinges on scoring or preserving. Utsikten and Landskrona, I think there's nothing to play for these two. No, Landskrona, plenty to play for. So we'll be looking at the away side here. No wonder they're 1.62. So this is going to be a bit squeaky bum time for Landskrona. Varberg and Sandviken are the final pair. Sandviken can't reach the heights and Varberg are safe as houses. We ignore these dead rubbers. So now we've got 5 matches with great need for at least one or both of the sides. We'll be looking at getting those draws late on. It worked very, very well last week with that Orebro winner and that come from behind. I think it was from Orgrit, wasn't it? So we'll be looking at that. We're nicely set up for the second half there. Dinamo Zagreb are a goal down. They're 1.25 favourite. Are they up for it today? It is post-European club competition. You can see Paris FC are knocking on that door. We're getting within the range now of drip laying. The only reason I'd get involved is purely because they're champions and are on a run of they're not champions, they're currently top, but they're on a run of 2 consecutive draws. So the motivation late on will be great. So let's have a look at that one. This is the Magdeburg one early on. I had to take it on. Ulm, newly promoted, red carded late on. Magdeburg's stats were through the roof, absolutely mental. Chosen the wrong team, apparently. FC Köln were the ones who got the very, very late winner earlier on. That was a real pity there. So Paris FC start drip laying just based on motivation and the fact that they're looking nice and busy late on. So I would start at 1.25 and then move down to the 1.19, 1.14, and then we're getting to the real money earners. And if you wanted to just start at these, it would save you a whole heap of liability, but you'd have to be always on the lookout for the very, very late goals. But it would save you a lot, and you could still win 50 odd quid because you can up this to 23, keep that £2 liability in check. At 1.06 is where the big money arrives. This you can put up to £32. And this is good for these Swedish matches later on, this drip laying technique. If you capture that very, very late goal, it's going to be fantastic. So this is a really good technique for the end of the season, as you'll see, I hope, second half in the Superettan. So we're all set up now. We can leave this one alone. We're looking.
Goal. Medina Cararis is 1-0.
Continue on. Concerted pressure. Will be very, very disappointed if they don't get a win and a 3rd consecutive draw, a second 0-0 in a row away from home. Paris FC starting to wobble at the top in Ligue 2. Beitar, well, not really got going yet, have they? So we're not going to focus too much on that. We'll have our first look at the Bundesliga as well. It's normally an overs league, isn't it? But they're all a little quiet, which will be a good exercise for the overs strategy, as we'll see. Sassuolo absolutely dominant against Südtirol, newly relegated Sassuolo. This is what you want to see. The newly relegated side dominating or starting to dominate Serie B. You can start to see the accumulation of wins from Sassuolo. Marry that with this. It's looking very impressive for them. Possibility of laying that draw second half, favouring the newly relegated side. Looks like they're finding their feet in Serie B. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Pressure on Cosenza. No,
This market has been suspended.
will be second half. It's set up very nicely. It's 1-1 Dinamo Zagreb. If you've got involved there, I'm sorry I didn't walk you through it, but I hope you'd have got involved with at least the +1. I'm not sure if I pass this on to Telegrammers. No. Dinamo Zagreb 1.25 away have equalised just before half time. Super Etna is all there, up and running and ready for us. Second half, we can refresh our minds as to who needs what just before we get to the key end of the matches. So just work our way through this lot and have a look. First look at the German Bundesliga. Holstein Kiel, Werder Bremen. I would have expected goals before half-time. 16 minutes in, if you're expecting overs, and I can try, particularly at this stage of the season where we've got 10 matches or so under our belts, we should have stronger candidates. Leverkusen, possibilities, but as you can see, the wheels are starting to fall off for Xabi Alonso after that season. Pressure of an early
Goal.
profile.
Brescia Cosenza is 0-2.
0.95 as well. These are all overs candidates. So at the 15-minute mark, we can use the simulation mode to see how these would get on. So let's have a look. Dortmund against Mainz. 15 minutes in, you should be getting good odds for over 2.5 goals. It should have walked nicely enough. Ideally, wait for evens. So it's taken a walk from 1.6 to about evens, and we're not even halfway through.
Goal.
First half.
Helsingborg or Greedy IS is 1-2.
So my idea, after 15 minutes in an over 2.5 goal match, back it and hope you get that goal before half time, which will guarantee you a profit. So we've got the Dortmund match on my list here. An Albrecht goal, they don't need it. Helsingborg need it. So this could be set us up nicely for the second half. Helsingborg must win in the hope that the side who are, I think, in third or second slip up. So this is not good news for Helsingborg at all. They've lost that point. Now they're back in fourth. They're even outside of the places now. They've got to hope that Landskrona lose today. So while it remains 0-0, there is a hope for Helsingborg that Landskrona will lose. They must win and at least hope they lose, if that makes sense. And there's that first goal for Leverkusen. I didn't get to it, and that is galling. There it is. So you wait 15 minutes or so, and with the likes of Leverkusen, first half goals is always an option. So they are listed here. Bayern Munich, Werder Bremen. So we'll have a look at these ones.
Goal.
Bayern
Bochum
Munich,
Bayer
Werder
Leverkusen
Bremen.
is 0-1.
So this is for overs. My ideal, of course, is a 0-0 at half time. Again, you're working with that pressure. We're not getting a really good drift, I'm afraid. It's all relative, I suppose. 1.4 up to 1.75, just with that 15-minute delay. It's pre-international. Bayern Munich are at the kind of side who will fall foul pre-international. That's the only worry point there. Werder Bremen, normally we expect goals before half-time for Werder. So let's add them to the roster, knowing it's a 70+% league for overs as well. So hopefully, marrying all that together, we can see if we can get at least that goal before half-time. That's more in keeping with what I'd hoped for. Just over evens. And the drift, again, from 1.6 to over evens. Not too shabby, with only 15 to 20 minutes gone. So hopefully we can take advantage of that move up and that hoped for goal before half time, because you can be, I hope, at least I've seen, can be guaranteed at least 13 or 14 quid per trade. If you get that single goal, I've seen it come in the 45th minute of the first half, and you've still got that green screen in the over 2.5 goal market, because it's opened up the door nicely for the second half to be competitive, particularly if the underdog scores that goal. But we're all done and dusted with Bayern now. Don't forget, if you fancy Bayern Munich are up for it today, you're getting to the 20-minute mark now, which is the kind of mark where you'll be looking at a breakthrough before half time for Bayern Munich. Based purely on the odds. They are playing newly promoted St. Pauli, who will obviously be playing a 10-man defence here and just trying to impress before the international break in front of home support. Bayern Munich on a good run. They had to win in the Champions League and did win, because they were on 2 consecutive defeats in the Champions League. Dortmund are a bit hit and miss at the moment, but 2 consecutive wins now. They're talking about hit and miss, lost draw for Mainz as well, but should be good overs candidate. We will see if we can get some first half action there. And those of you who have the soccer scanner, it's got a first half goals tab there in the stats section. This is your £10 a month scanner. Really good value. It's my backup. The stats section is very impressive indeed, particularly at trying to nail that goal before half time over the 1.5 first half goals. So this is the first half goals column. If you can look at your teams, for example, Dortmund, I could bring up the Dortmund Mainz match, head to head 62.5% goal before half time, 80% chance for the home side. Away side, last team away over 4.5, 90%. So we're in the good ballpark, aren't we? Hoping for that goal before half time in this Dortmund match. Statistically, it's with us. So if you do have the soccer scanner, this is very, very useful for you determining. I don't know why it's not brought up the Werder Bremen match. That's a pain. So we can go to the next one, Bayern Munich, which it should bring up. So if you do have the soccer scanner, do make use of this, particularly in play.
This market has been suspended.
Yeah, a bit tricky this. But German, Bayern Munich. There we go. I can't quite see them. So that's just a slight, there it is. Oh, that's Bochum Bayer Leverkusen. So I'm not sure what's happened here. Could be B Munich, I think. B Munich. 1.75, very skinny. But that's factored in expectations.
St. Pauli Bayern Munich is 0-1.
So you can have a look at this. See about 14 quid. That's what I'm looking at. So this is under, well, it's not, just not quite tightened up. Normally 14 quid, but it's come nice and early, and you can be out then. If this is your goal, is to get a goal before half time in an over 2.5 goal match, in an over 2.5 goal league. If you're happy to pick up these now and again, it should outscore the 1 or 2. Or it'd be interesting to see at 0-0 what your liability is. That could be your out, and then you could back over 1.5 goals at evens in the second half. So it could have 2 bites at the cherry. Of course, a 0-0 will kick you in the vernaculars. So that's all that we were after. Not quite my 14 quid. My 14 quid comes when you can get evens or thereabouts. You can see 1.75 just below evens. That's why that's just below 14 quid. So that's the idea. Bayern Munich have delivered, as I said, with the 20-minute mark. Paul knows it very well. Half-time score market, 0-1, 0-2. Don't forget any unquoted. These two you want to ignite with that single goal nice and early. It is nice and early. Now the market's going to be quivering a little, looking at Bayern Munich bringing in a couple more against a newly promoted side who look to be wobbling against the champions. Pity I couldn't find this, but maybe St. Pauli. No, I can't see, can't get the Bundesliga. We'll ignore that now. But that's a good tool to have. If you're looking for an over 2.5 goal match with a goal before half time, try to take them through that filter. Over 2.5 goals here as well. I don't know if this changes by time. So they've got specific kickoff times. And then you can check. If it's green, basically, I would say investigate further. It has to be in one of our leagues of interest.
This market has been
That's
suspended.
a nice little addition to the Soccer Scanner. I only mention it because it's £10 a month, and it provides some brilliant backup statistics for you to work on, and they will get better, of course, the more matches under our belts. So let's have a look through.
Goal.
Now against
Beitar Jerusalem Hapoel Haifa is 1-0.
That is a negative for over 2.5 goals, isn't it? Because you'd have relied on Dortmund to deliver at least one of the 3 goals, maybe 2 of them. So that is a bit of a kick. You can't legislate for red cards, of course, but do look for the reaction from Mainz. There's that Beitar Jerusalem goal coming in very late. Looks as if Paris didn't score a late winner. I didn't capture it, at least. There's that Dortmund red, which is a pity. Just make sure it's not come to a player off the pitch. Emre Can. So, oh dear. Midfield general. That's not going to be very useful. Venezia and Parma get to half time. I think that draw would be vulnerable second half. Newly promoted playing each other. You've seen it in Premier League. Always tend to see very competitive matches because they'll be lowering the sights and expecting to get at least 3 points against a similar calibre. Let's have a look through. We're waiting for the second half for the Superettan, so no rush here. Südtirol and Sassuolo, well, really, based on what you're seeing here, it was a similar performance last week from Sassuolo, a 0-0 at half-time, and they limped to a 1-0 second half. They're playing as Cesena, Südtirol, as you can see, keeping it a little tight in the last 2 matches in Serie B. 0-0s at half-time, those, but they didn't see a 0-0 at full-time. So I think we've got a good chance. Sassuolo will be biting at the bit to get an improved position for the second half of the season in Serie B. They are an Italian Serie A side of old. So we'll just have a quick look. I think we've got a good chance of that draw ending second half with the Sassuolo, the main culprits. Really good recent form. Just catching their form. Only the 1 defeat. It didn't look too rosy to start off with, but as you can see, they're performing more like a side who's been in Serie A for quite a while and have just gone down and are expected to go straight back up. Compare that with Südtirol, who failed to score that second goal in the last 4 away. They're scoring and conceding, so it'd be lovely if Südtirol could score first. We'd have a fairly confident play taking them on. We're expecting a goal to be scored by Sassuolo, scoring and conceding, as you can see, in the last 6 at home for Südtirol. So that draw is vulnerable. We'll work our way down, and this is the importance of the challenge table. You can see it coming to life the more matches we have. What a pattern for Südtirol. One you can go to war with fairly fair confidence. The possibility for Südtirol that they could suffer a 1-0 defeat, as they have done. Well, no, where they fall foul. So we could be seeing Sassuolo come alive second half. If you fancied an over 2.5 goal play, if you fancied a 0-2, 1-2, is the importance of the challenge table. It can point you into some value directions. Südtirol themselves, well, Sassuolo, let's have a look at them versus Südtirol's boys at the bottom. So looking for the possibility of a win to 0. A couple of 1-0s might dampen your enthusiasm for this kind of a scoreline. So difficult. They did have a 1-0 in the last match as well. But hugely favoured. Huge shock should this lot land a blow. But if they do land a blow, they're highly unlikely to go on and get the win. So it looks a good match, I think, for Sassuolo to target. they would be looking for that win. So let's look at that second half. So the draw 2.66, reasonable enough. Correct score if you wanted to go and have a real good go at this, knowing maybe both teams to score element 0-2, 1-2 would factor in that both teams to score element. 0-1 maybe as a break even. 0-3 if Sassuolo go to town, because you saw Südtirol conceded 2 or 3 against the big boys at home. So plenty of scope. Have a bit of fun with it. Norwegian Eliteserien or Superettan just beginning. Don't forget that's the last of the season. So we're going to be looking at that one as well. So let me just get Norway up. We're getting to half time, so nothing to worry about here just yet. We've got to get the Norwegian because they're starting already. We do what we did with Sweden, and that was to make sure that we only focus on the must-wins. So where is it? Is it just the one match, Egersund and Sandnes? Because I can't see it. Egersund. There they go, the Obosliga. There. So we'll target all of these and then we'll get to just getting rid of the ones where teams have nothing to play for. Just kicked off, well worth following. We might be in relegation playoff territory now with those. Wolverhampton Wanderers have scored first against Saints. Again, this is one of those matches where form side against a newly promoted side, both sides will be eyeing the win. It was targeted, I think, for over 2.5 goals as well on the list. So that's a good start, but have quite a few of them, and it wasn't the Wolves one. They had that one as a tight one, but a 1-0 lead already. The Sassuolo match. Let's just finish that one off. So correct score, if you fancied it. This is asking a lot because we've got that 1-0 problem, don't we, with Sassuolo. So you could try that, 0-1, 0-2. Looking at the 1-2 as a break even, the 1-3 as a break even. We're really looking for Sassuolo to go to town. They must be eyeing this for the win today, that's for sure. So 0-1 would be break even for me. Start loading up at 0-2. Swindon Town scored first against MK Dons, and Newport have scored against Tranmere. So I've got to get my odds-on list up and running in the lower tiers. That Newport goal has been disallowed. So something like this, you can really load up on the big guns. Oh, sorry, break even for the 1-2. So we get that back to 0. And then 0-3, simplest action, of course, just lay that draw. It's decent enough odds. You've got a newly relegated side really, really enjoying it now. And that would be a break-even. So something like this. Or simply, I'll put in for Telegram, just lay the draw, basically. Südtirol v Sassuolo, lay the draw. It's the simplest option, newly promoted side. So that's, if you fancied a bigger payoff, or the traditional draw. So you can hear that now. There's a goal in one of our matches of importance. So
Goal.
I'll pass that on to Telegram.
Die Zosters if is 1-2.
The Sassuolo. Play the draw. Newly relegated. Sassuolo strong in Serie B. So I think we've got a good chance of that coming in. Now you can see the goals starting to come in the Superettan, where we will need our live standings only for our starred matches. Oster, I don't think they need a goal, need to win. We need to refresh our memory. So let's go to the live standings, which will do that for Oster. Currently winning. Werder Bremen have scored just before half time to make it. And have a look at that one. I would
Goal.
This market has been
Werder
suspended.
would
Bremen
guess
Holstein
14
Kiel is
quid for
1
that
to
one.
0.
So Oster must win their opponents. Let's have a look. Degerfors are already up. Oster must win. Oster are winning. We've got a goal Mainz against Dortmund, so the overs are flowing. So let's just break. Have a look at Werder Bremen. That's okay. So I wouldn't be playing that
Goal.
later on. I would have loved a
Werder
Degerfors
Bremen
lead.
Holstein Kiel is 1 to 0.
They've got absolutely nothing to play for. So that would have been far
Goal.
preferable to an
Mainz Borussia
early
Dortmund
Oster
is
lead.
1 to 0.
We want the Oster to be looking for that late winner, as they did last week. Helsingborg must do something here and hope that Landskrona cock it up, or Utsikten get the win. On Landskrona's perspective, it's all in their hands. They must score a goal second half to put it to bed. Basically, that's it. Job done. Ostersund and Braga, you'd be expecting these two to be conjuring up a goal at some point. Again, looking at the standings, Ostersund and Braga. Ostersund are keen to cement that promotion relegation playoff place rather than getting automatically relegated. Gefle, if they get back on parity, look at the goal difference. It's only 1. Ostersund will be eyeing 3 points here to zoom up to 36 and get themselves out of jail. So it's vitally important. Braga have got nothing to play for. So that is one. We'll be looking at pressure from Ostersund's second half here. That 0-0 they do not want. Let's have a break and have a look at the 2.5 goals. How have those single goals affected these markets? I'm expecting 14 quid or thereabouts. Again, that's below expectation. So that's a pity. Normally expect 14 quid, but have to get out. Make sure that liability's negated. We're probably going to get...
This market has been suspended.
going to be because that's... Well,
This market has been suspended.
is this 2-0 already, or is it half time? I'm out. Yeah, probably is 2-0. Yeah, so there we go. I was out too early there. Mainz and Dortmund. Let's have a look at the impact of the goal and the red card. We don't know. It's not unsuspended yet. 2-0 to Werder Bremen. So
Goal. Werder Bremen Holstein Kiel is 2 to 0.
It's like that feeling when Erling Haaland is about to take a penalty and you back Manchester City at 10.5 and he misses. To have made it 3-2 with 20 minutes to go. It's that kind of feeling. 2-0. And I just cashed out at the wrong time. Oh, man. We're waiting with interest to see how the overs market looks now. I don't know why it's suspended. So we'll wait on that. Lots of 3 o'clock kickoffs. So let's prepare for those. Got to just check my odds on favourites, particularly in the Championship and League One. I think it's just Leeds United today. Very, very short odds at least. But Derby County are odds on already leading against Plymouth, who are having a torrid time under Wayne Rooney, football genius. So just collecting my odds-ons. Lens, 1.62 at home. That is very appealing, isn't it? Metz, 1.65 at home. Again, I do like those odds at home. And we've got a goal from Dortmund. So the goals are flowing. Is this the time to start over 2.5 goals once you've got this?
Pisa Sampdoria is 2 to 0.
Under your belts. You've got a league, 2 out of... You've got all matches where there's a very, very strong argument for over 2.5 goals. Superb stuff. Looks as if that was a handball, but Mainz and Dortmund, now you can just get out. You've got to get out the 2 goals before half-time. It's the gift that you've got to take. Absolutely superb. I would have thought the red card might have stunted things, but no. Once you're neutral, it's amazing. Doesn't matter who scores. So if you played those lucky day today. We did this last week, didn't we, with the Scottish Premier League, but in a different way. We looked at a different way of looking at overs. We might have a look at that today, again, in a league which we know has a good reputation for overs. So don't forget Sassuolo, 53 minutes into the second half. This is a must-win for them against that kind of an opponent. So that's why I'm pinning my hopes on them, laying that draw there. Skovda and Orebro.
Goal.
Shots on
Mainz
three off
Borussia Dortmund is 1-1.
and 7 list. Skovda. It's all one way for Orebro on the in-play stats. So we might have a play here. But I thought Orebro did all of their work last week. This is one of those matches, well, it's Skovda and Orebro. No, they've done all their work last week, so it shouldn't be listed, and it's not. Don't get suckered in. Now, if you were following the in-play stats, you'll know this lot at bottom of the league. Do you fancy a play? You're breaking all the rules, playing a dead rubber, but the in-play stats are absolutely solid. But you know that this lot are newly are relegated. They are bottom of the league. 6 shots on 3 off 7 corners. I'm going to rue. Up to you if you fancied it. You can have a look at the market. First goal for Vålerenga. So we've got to catch up. Right. That'll keep me away from this dead rubber. But if you fancied it, very strong arguments. So I'll leave that up to you. Bottom of the league. Signing off with 3 points. They're not going to gain anything from it, bar a place or two. But it's emphatic stuff, isn't it? So you take what you're dealt on the day. I'll leave that up to you. I'm tempted to, but we've got to go back to Norway and make sure that we're not missing on any Norwegian action. So we've got all those goals in the Bundesliga as we expect. And we're starting to see Wickham scoring first. Again, away at Wigan, so we can investigate some of those. But we need to make sure that we've got this Obosligan sorted out. It's the last day of the season. This is an ideal opportunity for getting some huge sides with huge motivation, with real time pressure, producing goals. Wolves won, Southampton won. That draw will be vulnerable late on. 2 of the worst performing sides so far in the Premier League. It is a must win. Vålerenga are up, dead rubber for them. But who are they playing? They're playing Sogndal, who are catchable. No, they're not catchable because Levanger are the highest they can go because they're leading at the moment. So that's a dead rubber. We can get rid of that already. Vålerenga and Sogndal, dead rubber. Vålerenga might want to win. As you can see, they've opened the scoring just based on just seeing off the season. The away supporters. So let's have a look at Öresund and Sandnes. Öresund are happily ensconced in the top 5, but they can break in, can they? With a win? No, they can't break into the top 2. They are happy to be where they are. I think they're in the promotion playoff places. They can't be caught by Stabæk, or can they? No, they can't, because you add 6 points. You take 3 away from this, and they can still be caught if they concede. That will be down to 46. And if this lot draw, that will be up to 43, 45. Well, got to be Carol Vorderman on this day. And there's that first goal from Sassuolo. It was coming. Those are the kind of matches to try to fixate on. Newly relegated, finding
Goal.
really
Ekad
easy.
of Old Trelleborg's FF is
Playing
0-2.
aside an awful. Oh, my brain's not working for this. Let's go back to the standings. Right, so this is as you were. A win takes this lot to 45. This lot must win, ideally, or draw and have a better goal difference. So I think Egersund and Stabæk must wins. So
Goal.
that one out.
Süttirol Sassuolo is 0-1.
Egersund is a must. They are leading. Levanger and Asani. Let's have a quick look at the standings. We'll just have a look at the standings pre-match because otherwise my brain will explode. Levanger and Asani is a relegation 6-pointer, or is it? No, we've already found out that this is the highest point that Levanger can go, but it's still a must-win for Levanger. So if Asana equalise, expect a response from Levanger to that. So they've started very, very brightly indeed. Lynn and Moss. Have a look at the standings for Lynn and Moss. And this is a skill you'll need in April for all of the leagues. So expect some fun and games. Even the lower tiers, you can have some real good high value, high potential profit trades. Moss and Lynn, the question is whether they can steal each other's place or be caught by anyone else. The answer on both counts is no. Can Moss improve their place? No, they can't, because Bryn is in a worst case scenario at the moment, losing. So that's the worst they can be, and they still can't be caught. So Moss season over, Lynn season over, dead rubber. We don't get involved with Lynn or Moss. Ranheim and Bryn just had a goal in that. And we've got an opening goal for Bournemouth in another 2.5 goal match on the list. A lot of them in the Premier League today.
This market has been suspended.
I'll look how strong that 2.5 goal list is from the research, and we'll see if we can go to war with that each week. Just with the two techniques, 15-minute break, and then if it doesn't come off, maybe cash out at half-time for a loss, and then back over 1.5 goals. And Bryn, we've got to look at the pre-match standings. Anything to motivate these two? Well, Bryn, we know already, cannot be caught. This is worst case scenario for them, and they still can't be caught. Over 2.5 goals is in already. Mainz and Dortmund by half-time.
Mainz
So,
Borussia Dortmund is 2-1.
The two most high-profile leagues, Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2, for goals. Sunderland are opening against Coventry. Coventry let us down last week. They scored 3 goals in each of their 2 prior matches, including that £100+ profit maker for us coming from behind. But they didn't land a blow last week. They are a goal down to Sunderland. So we'll look on that one with interest. Ranheim, do they have anything to motivate them? Yes, they do. Or do they? Yes, they do. They must hold on to this win. Because if Stabæk change the scenery to make this a draw, we go on to 42 points. 1 point to favourite Leeds United, 1-0 up already. Another good candidate for over 2.5 goals. And that was about 19 minutes, but you'd have been a bit like the Dortmund match earlier, or Bayern Munich one, very skinny odds for overs, even after 15. But we're going along the right lines with the shorties. They do produce goals. So plenty to play for with this Ranheim match. We're moving on to Raufoss and Mjøndalen. Mjøndalen probably looking at a relegation dogfight, are they? Or are they safe? 29. So that's a draw. 30-31. They cannot go into the promotion playoff places. Raufoss on 42 points. A number of sides on 42. But you add 2 to that, makes 44. And they do need to win. Raufoss must win, I think. Nothing from Mjøndalen to play for. They're down. Stabæk and Ålesund. Let's have a quick look at these two. And we can go to war with this second half now. Stabæk, 42. Well, this is worst case scenario, and they're still equal with Ranheim. So they must turn this around, Stabæk. So plenty for them to play for. Must turn it around. So this could be one for us to target. Stabæk and Ålesund. Start and Kongsvinger. Kongsvinger have just scored. Venezia, did you lay the draw there? It was one to target very, very late, but Venezia have done the scoring. Don't forget to target these draws. Newly promoted teams matches. 3 points from each other. Kongsvinger are on 44. This is best case scenario for them, so they must hold on to the win. Start have nothing to play for because this is worst case for them and they can't be caught. So Kongsvinger must hold.
Goal. Venezia Parma is 2-1.
Stabæk, for me, is the most motivated of these in Norway, so I'll just grab that one. Stabæk and Arlesund, and we'll hope that Arlesund turn up as the motivating force. So we'll have a look at that one. Stabæk and Arlesund. Just got to wade through to the ends. So Stabæk and Arlesund must get a result. The away side, I think it is, or the home side must get a result.
Goal. Südtirol Sassuolo is 1-1.
Wow, 1-1 already, Südtirol and Sassuolo. I did tell you about that, both teams to score habit for Südtirol. That will line you up nicely, though. Well, it won't. You get the break even on the 1-3 and on the 1-2. You could lay the draw again, because this is as per expectation. This is why the challenge table is so useful at this stage of the season. We're expecting now a 1-2. So look out for that. So I didn't load up profit, I'm afraid, on the 1-3s. I was expecting Sassuolo to go to town. What a pity. Now, I should have done really on at least one or two of them. 0-2 to Kongsvinger, really cementing that lead now. We've got that Stabæk and Arlesund. Are we seeing anything from Stabæk in reaction? They've got to do something here today. Arlesund have nothing to play for. It's all Stabæk. Runheim and Bryn 1-1. We'll be looking at that second half again. Kongsvinger cementing what needs to be done for them. So let's just have a look down some of the markets we haven't been looking at just yet, particularly in the English lower tiers. Antwerp, odds on leading. That Südtirol goal has been disallowed, so the 0-2 is still alive, and it might give me an impetus to just add a little bit of profit to the 1-2, 1-3. You'll be expecting Sassuolo with that to be concerned. The Venezia goal has been disallowed, so again we're going to have another shot at that, lay the draw at some point before 85th minute, I think, because these two, as I say, are eyeing the win. They must get a win against a fellow newly promoted side. Sunderland Coventry. What odds are Coventry today? Not fancy today. I do like their goal scoring, but they let us down last week. So I will just bear them some mind based on recent goal scoring performances. They do turn up at the in-play stats, to keep an eye on that. Leeds United we can get rid of now. Absolutely bossing QPR. As expected. We're running out of space because we've got so many of the Scandinavians with us at 3 o'clock. All have to kick off at the same time. Leyton Orient and Blackpool, well,
This market has been suspended.
quickest focus on matches would be a quick look at the odds on. Gorica have made it 2-1 against Dinamo Zagreb. You might have a second bite at the cherry there for Dinamo Zagreb to get an equaliser. 1.25 pre-match. We'll just have a look at Gorica's odds. Gorica's goals. They might not be from open play. We've got a goal for Utsikten against Landskrona. Is that of importance? We'll have a look. It looks like they're from open play. Fair enough. This international fatigue. Well, it's one-way traffic for Dinamo Zagreb. Might be an opportunity to take on. If that goal stands, it doesn't stand. No. Utsikten and Landskrona. Let's have a quick look at the important. If we can get the live standings up. Who is the team of importance here? Let's have a quick look. Landskrona. So this is worst case scenario for Landskrona. Helsingborg now, knowing Landskrona is 2 goals down, must turn this game around. Must. And it's 1-2 to Parma now against Venezia. So I didn't get to lay that draw. What a pity. I was waiting till a lot later when there's again, that time pressure. So trouble with Landskrona, they must turn this around. Otherwise, if Helsingborg, wow, they're playing an Utsikten without anything really to motivate them. So have Landskrona actually turned up?
Goal. Venezia Parma is 1-2.
So Helsingborg, you're of a reaction here. 2-goal deficit. We're talking about promotion. So we need to see that from Helsingborg. So this is a potential play. And let's have a quick look through. What was the match of interest? Utsikten and Landskrona. I don't think it's on my list here. That's what I was missing. I need to see those Utsikten stats. So I'll use my backup. So I might do some plays based on the teams with need. Now they might not pull it off, but you can bet they're going to give a really good account. So that's Utsikten and Landskrona. Very little to report from Landskrona's perspective, is there? It's 1-1 Brentford and Bournemouth, another over 2.5 goal shortlisted match. Peterborough leading Cambridge at home. There's no real tradable scorelines yet, apart from Gorica Dinamo Zagreb. You might want to keep an eye on that one. We'll move on to that one. Landskrona, well, very little in the way of action from them. So Helsingborg might be the one to look at. There we go. That's Helsingborg and Orgrit. So you'd have hoovered up some nice profit, wouldn't you, with that first half goal strategy for Dortmund? We're looking, that would 50 quid thereabouts, just for those goals before half time. So it's not to be underestimated, but we've got to, as ever, be more mindful of the negatives. So let's have a go with this, purely based on it being a must win for Helsingborg. Now that Landskrona are 2 goals down. Big insurance, you might want to just go to the match odds. Probably better to just go to the match odds where you can have a small play at 7.8 and a 1.65. But now I've had to split stakes. So the ideal would be the smaller play. Rather than the insurance is too much. But the motivation must be with Helsingborg to get something. Orgrit did all their work last week, so they're in the enviable position of not needing to bust a gut. But the rewards can be huge if that motivation can bring us something here. So it's something to pass on, I think, for Telegrammers. Helsingborg v Orgrit. Helsingborg v ORGRY. End of season. Hell must win to try for promotion. Laying ORGRYTE and backing Helsingborg's match odds. No insurance needed.
Goal.
Let's
Scott
see
AIK Orbro SK is 1-1.
if we much of motivation delivering for us. Modena Cesena, no strong opinion later on here, so I'll get rid of that. Venezia Parma, we've already got that ending.
Goal.
But it
Scott
remains.
AIK Orbro SK is 1-1.
And if this is indicative of a potential Venezia equaliser. So you might want to look out for that. They did have a goal scrapped. And we do have the draw specialists here. They'll be lacking a bit of confidence, you'd suspect, or belief that they can turn a win into a win and not turn a win into a draw. So this is coming up very nicely. We'll keep an eye on the Orgrit one. The other ones we'll investigate as the goals come in. So let's hope that we get some decent plays from the motivated sides. Again, Those odds look far too high. Having scored the opening goal, had a goal disallowed second half. Again, just have a throwaway play. These are two sides, as I say, who will be expecting to take 3 points off each other. It was another good candidate for the overs list, so I'll be looking at that again tomorrow in the review preview. I think it's performing well today. That's available at the website. So there we go, a little dink in with a break even on the draw. And you're looking at Venezia to score the next goal, not necessarily to win. Because if they score the next goal at 2-2 in a match of two newly promoted sides, those odds are 19. You're not going to see them for dust. So that looks... Plenty of time left, I believe. 73rd minute, very early to be pinning your hopes on Parma. Draw specialists, laying them, and small back Venezia in a battle of newly promoted sides. Okay. So it makes sense, doesn't it? Plenty of time left. They've already scored. In-play stats are good. It looks like peaks and troughs.
Goal.
It's Venezia's
Skopje IK Orebro SK is 2-1.
Skopje have scored. They had to, didn't they? Orebro. Orebro got nothing to play for. And they're on our list, I think. Or are they? No, they're not. It's the dead rubber, isn't it? And that's Skopje. And you'd have been cursing yourself had you gone into that one, because the bottom of the league side are leading 2-1 in a dead rubber. So thank goodness I got distracted away from that. As I've warned you in the past, if you get involved in dead rubbers, you've only got yourself to blame, and I nearly fell for it. So watch out. They are crafty buggers, these dead rubbers. In-play stats can look wonderful, but then they've got F all to play for. So what's the motivation? There is none. You're going to bust a gut? No, you're not. Let's just make sure I haven't missed the odds-ons in the championship, because that's my main port of call. So both odds-ons are leading. We don't have the lower tiers, do we, today? Or are they a little bit lower down? I think they will be, yes. So I've got to take my cues from the lower tiers, from the odds. So we're just waiting for Sweden and Norway to start getting interesting. And Dinamo Zagreb is always there. I think they came from behind earlier on to make it 1-1 just before half time. They've got it in them. They are the better side, but they've been involved in Europe, and it's pre-international. Maybe they're chock full of Croatian internationals. We don't know. But vulnerability, particularly away from home, as you've seen famously last week. League One, let's get our odds-ons. Birmingham, Northampton, 0-0. So we're immediately alerted to this match. Potential for at least a goal before half-time as well. The odds are accurate. Huddersfield odds-on away is a 0-0. That's why I do it. Peterborough, I like Peterborough odds-on. And I like those odds. So that would be a very strong play had, I think, Cambridge got the opener there. That's a kind of a banker material play, that, isn't it? Looking down at the odds-ons, well, now we know that odds-on favourite Wimbledon are a goal down to Grimsby. That's something we can investigate now. And we know, well, Barrow are leading. Got a red card, so it's not an odds-on match, but the red card could see Cheltenham do something here. We've got an odds-on Chesterfield a goal down. Odds-on Doncaster a goal down. Plenty to investigate here. Or has the market got these odds-on favourites completely backwards today because they're not performing? Got a number of them conceding first. So which league was that? English League 2. Something I'm going to have to dig up the in-play stats for, because we've got to follow these matches second half now, see if we've got any angles. Well, those of you who went in with the Orebro, you've been let off the hook. It's 2-2. It's tempting me, and it really is. I think Arabro will teach that Skövda a lesson, but it's a dead rubber, which is the problem. So we've got all our odds-ons now in the lower tiers. That's what I was after. Now we can be alerted whenever a goal comes in, and we can investigate. As we know in English League 2,
Goal.
the problems.
Skövda AIK Orbro SK is 2-2.
So I'm just going to free up some space here. We'll be looking, I'll be alerted anyway if Venezia do get an equaliser. I think it's a good value with the amount of time left. And we've got plenty of goals coming
Goal.
in.
Varbergsbois FC Sandvikens if is 2-1.
Sandvikens, I think that's a dead rubber, isn't it, that one? So we've got, I don't need to follow that because I'll be alerted if it becomes 1-1 or 0-2. And Stabæk and Arlesund is 0-2. Stabæk, were they the ones with something to play for? Wheels? Just as you can see there, just got to do a double check. Make sure we know which of these two it was. And it looks as if it's Stabæk who desperately need the points. No, dead rubber for Stabæk and for Arlesund. No, it's not a dead rubber. They must.
Goal. Stabæk Ålesund is 0-2.
They can still get up to 45 here. They're battling with Raufoss with a win. Will take Raufoss to 44. So Stabæk must go to 45 with a win. So I think that is one to target. Stabæk and Arlesund. Have we got the in-play stats for this one? The only reason I'll be doing it.
Goal. Sunderland Coventry is 2-0.
Wheels are falling off Coventry, aren't they, recently? Last two matches. So let's go to Norway, is it? Stabæk and Arlesund. Let's just see if I can find it.
Goal. Brescia is 1-2.
Yeah. No. Is it covered on Betfair? That's the first protocol before I get too waylaid. Some of these aren't in the lower tier. It is covered. So regardless of the in-play stats, I think the motivation is huge. Even if it's a losing play, it has to be a play, if that makes sense. So you've got to lay, well, laying over 2.5 goals is pointless because you've got to cover the 1-2 as well, haven't you? Depending on the odds.
Goal. Werder Bremen Holstein Kiel is 1-1.
So you're straight into the, and it's really good low odds. Got to be done. Got to have a punt at this one. So got to have a go because of the motivating factor. Now, slightly illiquid, as you can see here. It's a pity. As ever, I like to just get over to that 100. 1-2 very quickly. Got home advantage, Stabæk. And they're on that cusp. They must make it 1-2 quickly. It's only the 39th minute. That's why I've got involved. If they can get a goal before half time. Boom. End of season. Win. Stabæk must win to enter playoffs. 0-2 down early in match. Who's their opponents? Lay Arlesunds. Back. Stabæk.
Goal. Ekadavolt Trelleborgs FF is 0-3.
Right, so that's a huge motivating factor there as well, isn't it? Oddevolt and Trelleborgs. If it's a match of importance, it will come up here. Jerven Tromsdalen is. Investigate that one.
Goal. Ekadavolt Trelleborgs FF is 0-3.
Look at the head-to-heads. Sorry, where are we going now? We've got to have a look at the live standings. Oh no, it's a relegation playoff. Okay, fair enough. That's not of any importance because they've already had their season. It's a relegation playoff. No goals of importance. Let's catch up with some of the English football because it's been a little quiet. Brescia have come from a goal down. If you're interested in them finishing the job, the attacking pressure index is looking very strong indeed. They're at good odds to lay Cosenza. Do you fancy them finishing it off? A little bit quiet, but again, it's extra time. These odds are very short indeed. Have they come from behind? Yes, they were 0-2 down. It's 1-2. Can they keep that motivation up? I'll try to see if I can dig out to this one. Get some more lower odds about Cosenza. Oddevolt and... Well, let's work our way through Oddevolt and Trelleborgs. Can we get rid of some of these dead rubbers? It's not, it's Oddevolt. I don't need to be following that at all. Sundsvall and Gefle. We are interested in. I think Sundsvall have to maintain that lead, don't they? Conclusion we've come to. Must maintain the lead, yeah, to stay in the relegation playoff places. So we're interested in that one. Just got to keep that Gefle quiet. Ostersunds and Braga 0-0, 82nd minute. Now we're going to get interested if we've got draws that need to be turned into wins. Ostersunds and Braga. Let's have a look. Live standings, Ostersunds and Braga. Where are they? Ostersund. Yeah, if they can get a goal. So get that one targeted for a lay the draw. Ostersund and Braga. You might even want to just do the 109s late on. So I'll show you. You can set it all up now. But of course, if the goal comes, you'll miss it all. If the goal comes early, you'll miss it all.
Goal.
1-2
Mainz
Mainz.
Borussia Dortmund is
Over
3-1.
in the bag. Ostersund and Braga must win. Getting short, isn't it? Off we go. Oh, come
This
on.
market has been suspended.
You're not reading the script. Goal. It is a goal. It's a 0-1 to Braga. We were just on the cusp of...
Goal.
Doesn't matter
Mainz
who scores
Borussia
the goals,
Dortmund
does
is
it? Who
3-1.
played the draw. Themselves in the foot, Ostersund. Or is it Braga that needs the goal? Let's just confirm that. Oh, so close. I hope you got on before I managed to. 1.3 or thereabouts to lay that draw to start off with. Go all the way down. Well, it's academic now, isn't it? Go all the way down to 106. But there's the goal. What impact does that have on Ostersund? Let's have a look.
Goal.
Let's have a look.
Ostersunds FK Bridge is 0-1.
And you can see now that's dropped them into the relegation zone. Ostersund. Relegation zone. Braga, nothing to play for. This is a lay the bleep out of Braga at as low odds as you can get. Got to.
Goal.
To drip lay now.
Gibsons Valgevlif is 2-0.
You can bet your bottom dollar Ostersund will be going for something. How impactful will a draw be for Ostersund? Let's have a look. Is it worth going for the draw? Yeah, well, this will bring it up to 32. And the goal difference, well, the goal difference will be equal. So they must go for the draw. That's the hallowed turf, the relegation playoff place. That's the hallowed turf for them. So it is one to really target. They might not have the quality to do it, but boy, will they have the motivation. So I'm starting early. 1.3, 1.25. As I say, this drip laying is brilliant for these end of season. Catch them. Catch those late goal scenarios. So we've got 1.25, 1.1, 1.19 to win a tenner. Was it? I thought I put 1.19 or 1.29 by accident. Let's just double check. Yeah, 1.29. So I got 1.19. So 1.14 next to win a tenner. And then you're going to move down to 1.09. And that's to win your 23. And 1.06 to win your 32. You can leave that now, and you're hoping that Osterson's motivation will see that equaliser, because that could be an absolute lifeline, particularly if that other side concede another goal to make it 0-2. So fascinating. Helsingborg must do something. So I don't know how impactful a draw will be for them, if it's of any use. No, well, a draw will bring that to 48. So it won't be of any use for them. They had to go for the win. We got the 1-2 covered by accident, but we got the 1-2 covered. No, we didn't. Got the 0-2 covered as is. The 1-2 covered, so yeah. So any late need, let's have a look. Landskrona, well, are they going to have the mother of all comebacks, Landskrona? This is the part of the season to find out. And the great thing about this is it's all low liability, but you've got that massive motivation. Well, there's plenty of time left. They're not 1.62 for no good reason. They look safe with Helsingborg not winning. So that could be a waste of time. I think based... Oh no, Helsingborg draw. So we might get some motivation from Landskrona, but I think they think that it's done. And a little lay is not going to harm things. Fulham have scored first against...
This market has been suspended.
Scoring today. Are they going to score 2 goals today? Östersund and Braga. Boy, oh boy. This is why we get involved at the end of the season. I can even spell the name wrong. How much did I get matched?
This market has been suspended.
£2.90. Oh, I've got all of that beautiful stuff waiting for a late place. 2-2 Dinamo Zagreb. If you've got of Gorica, that is a match to lay the late draw in. 1.25 favourite Dinamo Zagreb. Expected to score that third goal, weren't they?
Goal.
Plenty of time with extra time.
Östersund's FK Bridge is 1-1.
Now, this element of drip laying, you can call it right, but if you don't get enough matched, it looks a bit drab, doesn't it? But boy, that was brilliant. Östersund. That's one of them in the bag. This is what we do. We're waiting. We're waiting. Need. Anything for Degerfors? No, they're champions. Oster had to win. We can ignore that one now. I'd be looking for Landskrona to get the win. Still at plenty of time left. Particularly if this lot can score a goal. So maybe a lay of Ågret very, very, very late on. So we were a tad unlucky here. Unless you went full stake and laid it whatever the starting odds were at 1.3 there. I'm going to go to the Helsingborg match. Again, all they need is a draw. I think, if the maths is correct. Ågret are getting nice and short. Don't forget that is covered by this. So I might take a £10 hit here because of the expectation for a goal. And that frees up that as well. So hopefully that'll get matched. Let's go again. I want to get out as near to that 39 as possible. It's a great idea of pools this, to free up the opportunity to win doubly. +1.
Goal.
Start
Brescia
laying.
Cosenza is 2-2.
Brescia 2-2. Did you lay Cosenza late on? Did I lay them late on? That was a really good call. I hope you got involved. So let's just have a low liability addition here. So we'll make a net loss if Allgrit win, but we've got the vast majority of the money back on cashing out of the 4.5 goal. Got to be done really, particularly late on, if the news has filtered through that Landskrona cannot win from now. Helsingborg just need that draw. Unless I've got the maths wrong, that's what it looks like to me. You just saw Östersunds turn up and do it. Can we get Helsingborg to draw the match? So let's just see Brescia. I hope you played the Brescia match. I'm just going to say hello to you in case I've been talking to myself for the last hour or so. You all okay there? Hello, Enoch. Nice to see you. Dinamo Zagreb. It's 2-2, Enoch. It's a post-international pre-Champions League. Sorry, pre-international post-Champions League. So they are stuttering at 1.25. But the value was to back them a goal down. I might have to get a glass of water soon. Sounding like Donny Tyler. Thank you, Stephen. Coventry just sacked their manager. So let me get back. So we're looking for Helsingborg. I think they need to draw. I might have to head off for that. I'm just making sure we're having a check of the Brescia match. Well, I thought I played that one, or did I? No, I didn't. In-play stats was certainly strong on their side. I did point that out to you as well. So I really hope. You had a punt, 1.25, I believe. Those draw odds for Cosenza. Could push on and get
Goal. GIF Sundsvall is 3-0.
Gefler. Well, that's academic now. Östersunds, I've got the draw that they need to hopefully. I'm going to have to get a glass of something, so excuse me. So watch out for the late action. Okay, excuse me there. A little bit better. So Helsingborg, we've got the, I think we've got the 1-2 covered, haven't we? That's academic now. This is the, again, Östersund, a win will guarantee, absolutely guarantee that they will be there in the relegation playoffs. Again, you could play up that £9 profit. It's a pity none of the other stuff got matched. You could play that up. Cash out here. And play it up for a very short odds. Low lay. It's a, watch out the now 20-second delay. It's been quietish in the Premier League today.
This market has been suspended.
We'll get to that after the Swedish have. So now we can just. Villarreal 1-0 against Deportivo Alaves. Again, another one on the over 2.5 goal list. So it's working very well today, that. Pity I couldn't follow them all, but I think you've got the gist, Liga, how I would approach my 2.5 goals. Just one goal before half time, as long as it comes between the 15th and the 45th minute. Make a profit. So just a late. Ideally, must win for Östersund to guarantee. And that's probably totally out of kilter, but just upping it a little bit. £7.73. Again, just fill your boots there, and a late winner for Cosenza. I didn't think about that. Desmond late on in Brescia. Should have done really. That comeback late. You'd have expected Brescia
This market has been suspended. This market has been suspended.
to the match, but you saw that Oster equaliser. That's why we play end of season. And Sicton make it 3-0. So Helsingborg, are you alive to this? Possibly win. And I think Helsingborg must be game over now for them. I thought with a draw. Oh, that's 49. That's the loss, yeah. Get the draw 48 and then the win. Push on. Only 2 goals away. 1.67 at home. Well worth having a go because you'd be guaranteed they're giving their all. So that's how we approach that. We've got all this to do again with the Norwegians. But in the meantime, let's look at some of the elite football. All of the matches. So this is why I like Soccer 24. You've got the pre-match odds already as a reference guide. Brentford and Bournemouth, one more for your neutral play. And if you're looking, again, the over 2.5 goals, did we have Bournemouth and Brentford there? Yes, we did. Both teams' defensive record, both teams to score. So it looks as if it's coming into its own now, coming off the recent. Okay, that was an obvious play. It's a redemption match for Real Madrid. Had to win. No other option. Villarreal already got that goal before half-time, which is what we're after. Bochum, we know all about that one. Mainz and Dortmund, overs before half-time. Goal before half-time, goal before half-time. St. Pauli and Bochum, that's from last week. My apologies. Wrong name there. Should be Bayern Munich. Got that goal before half-time, Bayern Munich as well, didn't we? And Werder Bremen, I think we've got 2 goals already there. So it's an excellent league for over 2.5 goals if that wants to be your main focus. Doesn't look like Östersund will end, but we will see. Helsingborg couldn't cross the line. Scotland and Arabro, dead rubber. Gentle reminder to you, 1.73 away side, don't need to win. That's how to lose money. Play dead rubbers. It's got the 1 goal here. It's a bit of a post-Champions League pre-international drub for Leverkusen today, isn't it? Selves look like they're a little fatigued. It's this newfangled Champions League with all of these high-profile matches are too early in the Champions League, and it's knocking Man City out of kilter, Arsenal out of kilter. Leverkusen are failing to score, only managing 1 today at 1.27 odds. But again, that came before half-time. Perfect for that get-out before half-time play. This is another pre-international fatigue fest for Bayern Munich. If this remains 0-1 late on, St. Pauli will, in front of home support, newly promoted side, be looking for something. It is a Vincent Kompany, Bayern Munich. They're not really up to scratch for the usual expectation. Bayern Munich, those 2 recent Champions League defeats. Overs, job done, helped in this case by the red card. Sometimes you can see the 10 men put up a stubborn defence. Coventry not turned up last match, despite scoring 3 in the prior 2 matches. Doesn't look like they're performing attack-wise today, but they were absolutely superb with that £100 profit we made on that comeback a couple of matches ago. Norwich City are odds on, not odds on, but they are favourite at home. Got a touch of drawitis and a couple of defeats. I would have to look at where they are relative to each other. If I was to have a play here, you can have a quick look at that. Norwich, do they deserve to be favourite?
This market has been
Are they
suspended.
better? We can have a quick look. Norwich and Bristol City. Not sure where these 2 are in the league either. So this will be worthwhile doing. So let's have a look. It's been pretty poor for Norwich recently, conceding 2 goals far too regularly. But at home, they're still unbeaten. albeit, but they do show some battling qualities with the 3-3 and the 2-2. Similar story with the draw itis for City as well. Sporadic overs. Only 3 clean sheets for Bristol City is a good sign for Norwich. But no wonder.
This market has
not
been
Luke Moore,
suspended.
Unbeaten in 6 at home, unbeaten in 4 away. So again, that could be reasoning behind the tight odds. 13th against 11th. Challenge table not looking too populated, is it, for Norwich against 10th and lower. But Bristol City have yet to play. Well, no, they've played the top 13. They did beat Middlesbrough. And there's that second goal for Bayer Leverkusen. There you go. That's more like it for the over 2.5 goals. That's what you expect for Bayer. But that goal before half-time is all I need to profit. Any late Norwich goal scoring was certainly scoring in both halves in equal measure, more so in the second half, just slightly, with 7 goals scored from the 61st minute onwards. So look on that as a possible entry point if you fancy Norwich today. It's half-time at the moment, so that would be coming to about 4:15. Can they make this count? Can they get an equaliser? We will see. They're unbeaten in 6 at home, so they look a good candidate. If that first half pressure can continue into the second half, they have mostly dominated the match, beginning and the second half of the first half. Goal disallowed for Bayer Leverkusen. You can feel the fatigue in Bayer and in Bayern today. One match too much. They'll need this international break. And they have a nice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, as indeed I'll probably have, because there is no real football of interest from now on. Just for a couple of weeks on those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Let's have a look. A few odds-ons in the Bundesliga just beginning. We'll take they come in. Kortrijk, not fancy today. We'll get rid of this secondary stuff. Slovan Liberec. Pardubice Jablonek, 1.55 pre-match 0-0 at half-time. Probably on the watch list here anyway, so that would have caught my eye. It ends 2-2 Gorica and Dinamo Zagreb. That's just Slovan Liberec with Odense and Horsens. That'll be a 2.5 goal match. OB Odense are a superb goal scoring side, so keep an eye on that one. Looking in the Championship, well, it's 1-1. Odds-on favourite Derby are a goal down. Sorry, it's 1-1 against Wayne Rooney's Plymouth. Well, a touch of drawitis for Derby recently, but both sides coming off the back of a win. Be looking at that one second half. Pompey against Preston. Well, thoroughly deserved, you'd have to say. Look at that. It's emphatic. This is what you'd love to see at 0-0. Because it can open the door up to a win to 0, can't it? Pre-match 2.75, so totally unexpected. I don't know if there's a red card involved. But as you can see, not really in keeping with the 2.55, the favourite match, this one. So watch on this one with interest. Is there something that, did they have their Lucozade a bit early, Pompey? Are they gettable? 2.55 the favourite. That's not a scoreline I'd expect. Leyton Orient, again, well, 2.55. Moving on down. Peterborough, we don't need to follow them anymore. Stockport 2-0 up against Bolton. 2.63 the favourite. No strong opinions there at all, I'm afraid. Lower tiers tend to produce the tiers. Birmingham 0-0. That's not quite in keeping with the pre-match. 1.25 expectation. 10 shots off target. You saw this with FC Köln earlier on if you were involved in the Bundesliga 2. This is the exact scenario which stopped me laying the draw. They didn't have a shot on target. They had 10 shots. Unlike FC Köln, Birmingham have had 50 plus dangerous attacks. A goal is imminent, isn't it? You'd expect from Brum. If the draw odds get nice and low and they score first, the draws are going to rise markedly. If the opponent scores first, you'll get a break even. So it's a good play if you can just get that second half goal. We can have a look at that one. In fact, I'll just find a few more while we're at the beginning of the second half, because we did have a whole raft of underdogs leading, didn't we? So let me just see if I can capture those. This is one of them, Crawley against Huddersfield. You can see already we've got a good marriage between odds on and a good reaction to going a goal down. Now, this needs to continue second half as well, but this has the makings of a good play. So that's going to be posted. Again, another evens favourite, a goal down. We can keep an eye on Lincoln City second half, see whether there's a reaction. And it's 2-1 to Pompey against Preston North End. Well, I did say, I didn't say, but, a 2-0 lead is thoroughly deserved, but 2.5 had the favourite, wasn't it? We should have taken on that 2-0 at 1.04. Man, look at the move now at 2-1. Goals has come in, Brentford and Bournemouth, and it's come in the favour of Bournemouth, so we'll keep an eye on
Goal.
stats.
Portsmouth Preston is 2-1.
We're just 0.04 lay up to 1.29. So don't forget, do check these 2-0 leads. If it's a 2.55 the favourite, 2.75 leading 2-0, lay them. The market might just be right. Case there with Preston coming back. So that was a really short odds lay that I missed out there. What a pity. Bournemouth match will be of interest to me. I'm going to keep an eye on Brentford, see their reaction. Exeter looking sharp. But again, it's the case of the FC Köln. No shots on target. Are you going to lay the draw? And Charlton? A couple of wins. A case of drawitis for Charlton. It doesn't mean we don't lay the draw. If these are draws, then we can embrace them. But In Play Guru doesn't have all of these up. They're usually very handy to have. But I'll certainly shortlist this one. Making strong noises, and we've missed the opportunity for Brentford to equalise. What a pity. I wanted to check those in-play stats. But it's both teams to score, as the research suggested. And it's showing it very well there. So let's just carry on down. Any odds on favourites? And I like this because it tells you, these odds are telling you that it's an odds on favourite, a goal down. And again, they're lighting up the attacking pressure in it's Chesterfield. So you might want to investigate this. Those of you who know English League 2 better than I do, well, and you know Chesterfield and Accrington Stanley, it looks as if they're 20th in the league. So that would be a potential play there. So don't wait for me to take action. If you're taken by those in-play stats, particularly what you saw with Huddersfield, looked pretty good. So do take action. Don't wait for me, because I have to facilitate this. I'm trying to dig out some good opportunities for you as well, and hope to get involved in them myself. Let's have a quick look at the Premier League. Well, it's wasn't really showing anything like suggesting an equaliser. It's one of those flat matches, isn't it? It's very equal all the way through to the dangerous attacks, the possession, all very equal. So it's not a match I would have been intrigued to play in. But Desmond is there. Already we've had 2 second half goals, so plenty to play for. The question here with Crystal Palace is, can the manager of the momentum that's been built up, particularly with that those 2 recent wins? But again, this is frustrating that they don't have this coming up. It means I have to go here. And Crystal Palace on a good run at the moment, but I've told you all season they've had this problem with that second goal that the manager hasn't solved properly yet. 0-2 lead for Vålerenga. So we'll be catching up with Norway nearer to the end. We're in about the 51st minute. So we're in the second half now. So we'll be investigating a lot nearer the end of that match. Like the Östersunds, we want to capture one of those. They did score that second goal. Eberici easy scored, but it wasn't allowed. Got 2 against Wolverhampton Wanderers, but then my old Sunday League side could score 2 against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I don't think that's a strong indicator that the manager's quite solved that lack of a second goal. And indeed, they're paying the price now with it being 0-2. Second consecutive London derby, they've scored 2 goals in. Scored 2 against Man City away as well. This is the time to take on Fulham, if there is a time to take on Fulham. But you've just as to whether you can get that second goal for those 2 goals for Crystal Palace. Indeed, can they score a goal? This looks wrong. Wolves and Southampton, I thought it was 1-1. That's 1-0. Southampton did have a goal disallowed, didn't they? Total pair of dodge pots, this lot. I don't think I
Goal.
score.
Crystal Palace Fulham is 0-2.
Goal disallowed. Have to be in play stats based, this one. These two are going to be vying for the relegation dogfight. 1.85 favourite. Look at that, 6 shots off target, 5 corners for Saints. That is good. But yet another example today of no shots on target. Stats. The pressure is there to tempt you in, isn't it? The pressure is there, but can they convert to at least a shot on target? It's the makings of a really good defensive display from Bolton. West Ham and Everton, this is either blows hot or cold. And it's 2-0 for Wolves against Southampton. This, I suppose, is the time to take on Southampton. Wolves, don't forget, conceded 2 goals against Crystal Palace. And we know Crystal Palace rarely score 2 goals. Saints will be a little disconsolate with that goal being disallowed. Now's the time to take them on. Don't forget, these two will be eyeing each other for the win, won't they? Newly promoted sides. Well, no, sorry. Weaker Premier League side against newly promoted. But Wolves have the feel of being
Goal.
tussle.
Wolverhampton Southampton is 2-0.
I'm surprised
Goal.
up something
Pardew
yet.
by FK Jablonec is 1-0.
Impressive of late under Lopetegui. It's that Man United win that I hope will catapult them into some better performances. Everton on their day can score 2 goals. Monaco failed to score last week, and you know why. The pre-Champions League mayhem. So no trades just yet. Just waiting. And we're waiting for Norway as well to get nice and busy. So let's catch up. No draw recently in the last 4 for Holston Kiel. They do tend to lose, but it's very lukewarm in play stats coming late in to this match. It looks to have been a damp squib. This is just fatigue. You can just feel it from Leverkusen, can't you? Well, they need that break. Fulham's second goal has been disallowed. So we'll keep an eye on that match. Can you trust Crystal Palace to score? 0-2, I would have possibly taken on Fulham. But it's all whether you can trust Crystal Palace. That's the problem. I think we'll get rid of this one. Just laboured buying, isn't it? Oh, dear. But that goal before half-time solved your problems. Indeed, same case for Bayern Munich. Goal before half-time. Another laboured post-Champions League pre-international performance. It's catching up with these big names. It really is. You're going to see a lot of this. 1-0 wins, 1-0 defeats. Brentford and Bournemouth set up nicely for the end of the match. Late scorers both as well. So we could have some fun with these two. We can have a look at the late scoring charts for Bournemouth and for Brentford. It looks a nice end of pre-international fun fest here. I think these two have a good reputation for late goals, so let's just confirm that. Levanger won, Asani won. So we're going to have to catch up with Norway soon because the complexion of the last day of the season is changing there, isn't it? Brentford electric at home. 2+ goals scored in 4 of the last 5 at home, but they have had it. Crystal Palace couldn't score. Southampton, Ipswich newly promoted. Wolverhampton Wanderers having a torrid season. So they've had an easy ride. You'd have to so far. But even having said that, they're conceding 3 goals against Wolves and Ipswich, who aren't renowned for their goals. So Bournemouth, trouble on the road though, isn't it? They failed to score 2 of the last 3 away. So yes, they scored 2 today. They only managed to get that 3. But let's have a look at the late goal scoring. That's what we're after. Well, we don't need to be after it now that Desmond has ended. It was a good candidate for a Desmond Tutu. Mjøndalen have scored. They had to, didn't they? Today, they have scored. Brentford, Desmond has come in. So, did you lay that draw? Very little to entertain us in the challenge table. Brentford haven't played the top 10 yet.
Goal. Bournemouth is
away.
3-2.
Got that 2-3. You won't get much action. But from a late goals perspective,
Odense BKAC Horsens is 1-0.
5 goals scored for Bournemouth in the 75th minute. So I think Brentford,
Goal.
75th minute onwards,
Crawley
it's still
Town
3-2,
Huddersfield is 1-1.
could be vulnerable. So that's a pity. That was a good Desmond, wasn't it? Plenty of action. But, I was waiting for late play there because I know these two are late goal scorers. Coventry not turned up, so I don't need to follow that anymore. Crystal Palace, don't know whether we can trust them. Nearly 3 times as many dangerous attacks for Fulham. They're on an unbeaten run of 3, Crystal Palace, but it's still that second goal issue. And Fulham just had that second goal disallowed as well. Not going to be laying Fulham just yet. Derby, plenty of secondary action. But again, this is a story today, lots of secondary action. But it's not translating, although we should have taken on Pompey, shouldn't we? But get back to that. Could be a lay the draw late on. Norwich, again, they need to be showing second half what they showed first half, and they're not. Just the 1 shot on target so far. No shots off target, although 1 for the away side and 1 corner for the away side. It's a lackluster play for me, but they are unbeaten at home, Norwich, so I'll keep an eye on this one. You might even want to have a go straight away if you want to stick to that record for Norwich, but it's not a match I would pin my hopes on. 2.15 the favourite. Wolves and Saints, and this is a torrid season for Xabi Alonso. Fatigue. Should have laid Leverkusen late on at 0-1. You're going to take the hint and lay Bayern Munich late on. The draw could be layable. We are playing with Bayern Leverkusen after all, but I think they can cross the line today. But last season's Bayern Munich were turning these 1-1s into wins very, very late on. So up to you if you want to follow me in here. It seems to be the rule, doesn't it, with Bayer Leverkusen. Overs, goals before.
Goal. Exeter Charlton is 1-0.
You saw their in-play stats. It's up to you whether you trust the in-play stats. Lay that draw. We've got those other Huddersfield, haven't we? We've got to look out for. Are they looking? They can deliver. So we'll keep an eye on those. 1.14. So our next is 1.09. We might get some extra time here. So don't expect anything post-Champions League.
Goal.
Expect
Werder Bremen Holstein Kiel is 2-1.
But hope that normal service will be resumed. Werder Bremen Holstein Kiel 2-1. That overs ends. So some reasonable commentary mentions in. So I hope you're having a look at them. So we can get rid of that.
Goal.
Done, but
Birmingham Northampton is 1-0.
And there's a bit. You lay the draw there. So I'm making some good calls. I'm not following them up, but I've mentioned these to you at half time. So I do hope you can scoop these up yourselves. Just waiting, probably waiting for a Fulham second goal here, to be honest. So we'll get rid of that. Just waiting for a spark from Norwich. And Coventry have scored. when you don't want them to score, they do. When you do want them to, they don't. No shots on target, Saints yet, means Wolves won't be laid just yet, despite Crystal Palace scoring 2 goals against them, which is poor form. 2 consecutive 2-2s as well. Scoring and conceding consistently as well. Southampton scored 3 against Stoke midweek. Did score 2 at home against Leicester. So still no shots on target. Nothing to get me involved just yet. We have to have a look at Norway soon. Be laying the draw at some point here. This could be one of those matches, a 0-1, 0-2, 1-2. You'd suspect it might be the end of this mini revival at home for West. Easy knockings against Ipswich, but a 2-1 against Man United. Very good performance, it must be said. Put to bay, 17.5 million man. Couldn't lend us a fiver for a cup of tea, could you, mate? So watch out here. Everton do have goals against the right side. Chesterfield, one of our odds-ons, weren't they? And this looks good, doesn't it? It all marries together. Odds on at home between 1.5 1.7. Reacting to being a goal down positively. I like this look. The only negative is the league. This is the danger league. We could get big problems. But let's have a look at Chesterfield. So I'll just put Bochum and Chesterfield. Let's get that up. Leverkusen. No, yeah, I'll put that in. And Crawley have made it. So Huddersfield did equalise, I think, then to make it 1-1. I didn't get round to that match. And it looks as if Crawley have just equalised. So Bochum v Leverkusen. It is Leverkusen. Got to be done. Chesterfield and Accrington looking good, I think. Famous last words, English League 2. So the Huddersfield match I didn't get to, which was a pity. Insurance is very high. But I'll give it a go. It's English League 2. The stats are with us as well. I like the stats. It's going to cost you 20 odd.
Goal. Crawley Town Huddersfield is 2-1.
Didn't get to Norwich yet.
Goal.
The in-play
Norwich
stats
Bristol City is 0-2.
This could be the first.
Goal.
Plenty
Bristol
of time left
Rovers
for Norwich
Lincoln
to come
City
alive.
is 1-1.
It is troubling for them. We weren't seeing it, were we, with the in-play stats, even though they're unbeaten at home. If you're not generating shots on or shots off, you can't be trusted. So we've looked at possibility. Let's look at Chesterfield and Accrington. Chesterfield match odds. Chesterfield +1. Match odds. Let's have some fun with them. No matches of importance. We've got to head off to Norway soon, haven't we? Got to keep an eye.
This market has been suspended.
How
This market has been
Oh,
suspended.
have I missed? This is a Chesterfield goal. It's just my bad timing. 6.2 about Accrington there. No, it's 0-2. So I was saved. I was saved. And, gentlemen, is a beautiful advert to you. Why I get scared, leapless, heading off these lower tiers. So a great advert for you. And Huddersfield make it 2-2. So I hope you played
Goal.
there. Keep an eye on the
Crawley Town
Huddersfield match. I
Huddersfield
think
is
this will be one
2-2.
for you to lay the late draw in. We should have got that equaliser, as you can see there, 41st to 59th. I did mention this one. I hope
Goal. Chesterfield
Desmond
Accrington Stanley
gets
is 0-2.
Birmingham I mentioned. If you can get that draw, lay that draw. I'm not following these up. I scooped all of these up at half time.
Goal.
So many odds on
Crawley
favourites.
Town Huddersfield is 2-2.
A goal down. This is a strong one, I think, now to lay that draw. Huddersfield coming from behind here when expected to at 1.57. Great play. So let's work our way. Well, we're seeing some action from Crystal Palace. It's a difficult call, this one. Probably bet, well, certainly tempting to lay Fulham at those odds because the liability is so short. Only the two shots on target second half, one shot off, one corner. Again, secondary stats for Derby. Are secondary stats good enough to lay that draw at some point? Not enough pressure with the key shots on target. Two of them second half, albeit 60th plus minute, might be warming up, as indeed Everton are.
Goal.
Keep an eye on the
Odense
draw here.
BKAC Horsens is 1-1.
West. This is the time to take on a 0-2 lead. So give that a go. Still early enough in the match. And again, we're keeping our liability low. It just seems to be this pre-international weekend is troubling. Shouldn't be troubling these two, though. So it's very short odds lay. You saw the in-play stats tempted me in, didn't they? So well worth attacking. A very speculative Saturday so far. In-play stats are emphatic, aren't they? Well, they're one-way traffic basically. 3-5-4, but suddenly second half subtly belonging to Accrington. One shot on target, 3 shots off target, and 3 of the 4 corners coming second half. So that's good enough pressure. Accrington, a couple of wins now, but Chesterfield 8 goals in 2 matches. Hopefully that will warm them up. Accrington, FA Cup and EFL trophy. So the sudden winning streak has come in the cup. So I'm not going to be panicking just too much. This looks like a good liability play. Well worth laying. Accrington and backing Chesterfield, scoring 8 goals last 2 matches. So if we're going to get losing plays, at least make them low liability. You can see that 100 with Everton. Has that tempted you in? We know Everton have 0-1, 0-2 potential, don't they? Lopetegu's 2 recent wins, a muddling Man United and an Ipswich Town. It's not quite turnaround time just yet, is it? The draw is getting good odds. I could even just lay it to a full liability now. You're going to get a good return. Or given the fact that it is Everton and they are a 0-0 side, aren't they? Sometimes under Dyche, you could give that until you get a third of liability as loss. I think Strasbourg have scored first against a Monaco who failed to score last week.
Goal. Strasbourg Monaco is 1-0.
And it's 0-3 to Accrington. That cements my visit to League Two. Reminder, it's Dodgepot City. There's plenty of time still for Chesterfield to do something. For those of you who like flogging a dead horse.
Goal.
Off you go.
Chesterfield Accrington Stanley is 0-3.
Still plenty of
Goal.
no
Strasbourg Monaco is 1-0.
Huge value. And this is huge value, isn't it? 20 minutes to go. Not very emphatic stats, it's just good finishing. So I'll just top up on that one. Accrington. Don't want to get fixated with League Two, as has been amply advertised here. But that's why you keep the liability as low as possible. And just topping up here for £1.60, look. Bang. And the averaging element will come into play if Chesterfield score the next goal. So you're going to have a chance turning this into an earlier green screen than if you hadn't have got in and they did score. So let's just get that 105 again. So just a matter of £2 upping your potential reward by 40 quid, giving you more to work with if you can get that 1-3. Accrington are 20th in the league for a reason, I would suggest. Let's have a quick look at English League Two. Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two. So let's have a look. Why
This
is the
market has been
market
suspended.
lukewarm about Accrington today? Why are they over-delivering suddenly? Just encapsulates English League Two. You don't know. You can see the solid stats, but they just don't turn up. They've had a couple of 2-2s recently, Chesterfield. They do score draw at home, so we'd be hoping for a goal, hopefully to be scored early enough. This is unknown territory for Accrington Stanley. They must have drank some milk this morning. 3 goals. First time they scored 3 goals and are leading since the 24th of August. So it's a chance with those 2-2s for Chesterfield. Let's have a look in the challenge table. Accrington are near the bottom. Chesterfield have struggled at home against 12th and lower. So that might be why they're struggling today, perhaps. They did get 5 goals against Morecambe. Accrington are in the bottom 5 as well. Accrington against the top 6. Well, we'd be hopeful, wouldn't we, with that 4-goal disaster against Doncaster. 2 goals conceded against MK Dons and Notts County as well. Would leave us hopeful as well of something from Chesterfield, but it's very, very low liability. So don't get too fixated upon it. Huddersfield should put this to bed. So we can have a look at that one. We missed the opportunities really were when Huddersfield were goal down. I hope you got involved because I gave you that half-time chat. The stats were good, weren't they? It's the perfect stats you want to see for an odds-on favourite, a goal down. What you could do here, perhaps insurance, it's going to be a little bit too high, but it's 2-2. So you could lay over 5.5 goals or over 4.5 goals, I think it is. But no, it's a little bit too high. But be looking for Huddersfield to end this at some point. You could lay the draw now if you fancied. Or you could wait a little bit later. If Huddersfield score, draws are going to rise to 7s or 8s. 75th minute, 15 minutes to go. Come from behind. Looks a really good Desmond Tutu, doesn't it? But I like taking the Desmonds on a lot later. We've got to investigate Norway because the goals are flowing, but we don't know how impactful they are being. So let's get into last day of the season. So every goal counts for certain teams. Egersund and Sandnes for Egersund. Let's have a look. Egersund and Sandnes. Egersund are safe as houses. Sandnes are bottom and they're staying bottom. Don't need to follow this one. Levanger and Asani. It's 2-1 to Levanger. Let's have a look. Levanger and Asani. Well, they can't go any higher. And they can't be caught. Asani can't be caught either. So that's a dead rubber. Levanger are doing what they have to do. They're winning. But if Asani... Yeah, this is not over. Levanger must win. And guess what? It's just become 2-2. So that is one for a very, very late lay the draw. Look at the problems this causes for Levanger now on the last day of the season. Once we get the scoreline coming in, we'll see the challenge table, sorry, the live standings change in reaction to that goal. Not coming just yet, but it's going to mean, there we go, Levanger are down in the relegation zone. Mjøndalen are up. So this, Chris, probably going to kill off anything approaching a goal from them today. It's hard enough with 11 players to score for Palace. And that is another reminder to you as well, playing London derbies or derby style matches can be unpredictable. This is a later draw, if ever there was one. Ranheim and Bryn. Just check these two. Ranheim and Bryn. It's already 1-4 to Bryn. And they're second, and they don't need to win. And dead rubber. But the
Goal. Stabai Karlsson
Great
is
start.
0-3.
It's a must-win for Mjøndalen, as you know, with that 2-2 now, putting Mjøndalen in the relegation playoff place. They can't cock it up. Well, they're Mjøndalen, of course they can cock it up. But Levanger must get a win. So, like the Östersund match, we've now got our match of huge motivation, haven't we? Stabæk and Arlesund.
Goal. Stabai Karlsson is 0-3.
Oh, they'll be bitterly disappointed. Because a win today, they'd have been in with a shout. Even with Kongsvinger winning, Stabæk of being in the promotion playoff places. It's done. But now's the time to take on Arlesund. Bring on the cavalry. They need to score 4. Let's go. This is the motivating type of match. Low liability. Enough time left. Enough time left. So let's get involved at 102. Again, with the averaging in mind, I can just add another fiver to this and it can really boost the returns. So there we go. Now we're hoping for at least a goal early enough for Arlesund to get the ball rolling. They must do something. They have enough time. 10 minutes plus extra time. Stabæk as well, 1.73. Have enough time to do something. Don't forget that draw must end. Starting Kongsvinger looks pointless now with that red card, regardless of any need for start. Kongsvinger, well, must hold on to the win. Start, even on 35 points, are safe. They did the job last week with the draw. So we've got 3 matches remaining. Highly unlikely. Must hold on to the win. Must win. That.
Goal. Pardubice FK Jablonec is 2-0.
Have the Levanger matchup. Place your plays now. Like the Östersund.
Goal.
Will come
Odense
later.
BKAC Horsens is 2-1.
Levanger Asani match. Wow. The market suggests there's plenty to go here. Let's have a look at the timings. Those odds are very high. Not difficult to lay at those odds. We want to be pressuring the time. We want a very late go at the win for Levanger. They must win. Must. Pressure. Perfect end of season match. We can now get rid of Crystal Palace. Will need the international break to solve that attacking problem. It's not going away.
This market has been suspended.
Egersund and Sandnes is 2-0. Was this the from behind we needed? No, it's not. Yes, it is. But no. Egersund, no, that's not involved. But Arlesund, obviously the better side, but we had to take on that lead. Bye-bye, Stabæk. Ain't going to happen. The draw might be vulnerable late on in the Derby-Plymouth match. I suspect Plymouth are lacking confidence. Derby's in-play stats are
Stabai
excellent.
Karlsson is 0-4.
It's an excellent team, isn't it, Derby County? So they'd be keen to put one over the granny lover and donut lover, if you've seen him lately. So let's just bring this one up. Again, just have a quick look at the late goals at the bottom here. Derby have a reputation for late, well, second half goals, 7 out of 10. 70% of home goals come second half. And Plymouth, they're not going to score. They don't look like scoring, and they do concede. 5 goals conceded in the last half hour. 5 shots on target. You saw earlier on, didn't you, beginning of second half, no shots on target. Now there's 4. 2 of them coming 80th plus minute. That's a nice concertina effect there from Derby. Real going for it now. I think let's get that draw at 1.25 or lower, unless you want to place your plays in now. And if you really want to keep your liability low, I can just take you to them. If you're waiting for a start here at 1.09, of course, you're going to miss out a huge chunk of time where a goal could be scored, of course, but you're going to get huge rewards for a very, very low stake if you can capture that late goal. Derby have got that kind of a look about them where they'll be grinding to the death. So these are all waiting here, waiting in the wings for the odds to be matched. Looks good, doesn't it? So secondary stats, that's the story of today, really. Pompey. Well, Huddersfield, possibility of that draw ending. But I did say it could be one of those matches because of the league. I've just seen with Accrington why I don't like these leagues. Third of liability is loss. That would be £13. Bang, on the button there. So, true to my word. There we go. We trust Coventry. 2 weeks on the trot. And then the third week we didn't. And today they've come from 2 goals down. I could lay this draw again late on to try to get this back and hope that Huddersfield get the win. That's a third of liability as loss. It gets you involved, but in a match where you don't really fancy the league, you can limit your risk. But possibilities here, but no shot on target for going on 12 minutes now. Get rid of that one. Arlesund. So we're just looking. Stabæk and Odense. Sorry, Odense. Expecting goals. Trouble with Monaco. Failed to score prior to their Champions League match. Favourite today. So we'll keep an eye on them. They are, or they were, one of the form sides in France, apart from Paris Saint-Germain. So we'll keep an eye on that. Possibility to lay Brentford late on. You saw that Bournemouth late goal scoring pattern. It's a day today, isn't it? So let's have a quick look. I thought it was scored late by Bournemouth, if my memory serves. For the away side, yeah, 5 goals scored in the last 15 minutes and 3 goals conceded in the last 15. Given it's been a humdinger of a match, these two very evenly matched as well, I think that could be a late one. So here, for example, if I wanted to get rid of that liability, you could even just have a tickle here. That just adds another £1.20. So any late Huddersfield goal will negate this, but still keep your risk low. Where were we going? Let's have a quick look. I've forgotten where I'm headed. Down Brentford and Bournemouth, I think, yeah. Just on that late goal basis. Getting to a nice low odds. And again, the drip laying, if you fancied it now, or if you fancied the 1.09, looking for a very, very late goal, as is Bournemouth 1. So again, £23 at 1.09, £32 at 1.06. So that gets you involved with the very, very, very late goals, if there are any. And it keeps your liability to about £4. Your profit to 50 plus. So well done. Unlikely Chesterfield, unless we get some Fergie time. So a few of these are done and dusted. Huddersfield, possibilities of that late draw ending. But the real profits were made in these two comebacks. 41st to 59th and 65th to 67th. Those were the profit makers. Monaco, I think Monaco can get the equaliser here today. I haven't been following French League 1 all the time, but they've been making the right noises, and I think they were first or second. We can check that out now. French League 1. Had a bit of a wobble, of course, the Champions League wobble, as you know, happens to the best of them. Failed to score at 1.29 at home. So we'll have a look at that. We're just waiting for that late action, aren't we, in Norway as well. So you can see this is Champions League noise. Failure to score in the last two at home, only scoring one. This is a local derby as well, Côte d'Azur derby. I watched that from my yacht with Elton John and his husband. That was a very good match. So that's got extenuating circumstances. Failing to score. Man City lost on the same day. Arsenal lost on the same weekend. So don't worry about that. Strasbourg have been in good nick, but it's all relative to the day. Third now, Monaco just dropped a tad. Good performance for Strasbourg, but very little to tell us against the top 7. Just the one against a Marseille. Again, a Côte d'Azur side. Monaco wins against 6th and 7th suggests they should have 9th within their compass. So I think this could be a good play. But if ever a side's going to cock it up, it's going to be another Champions League side, pre-international, a la Monaco. Most of their scoring away done first half as well. But I think possibilities here, particularly if they're making the right noises, just slightly above. And want to attack second half, I believe, this one. So we're just waiting for late goals to come in. To keep an eye on Levanger again. So let's just check that one out. We know they must get a result. So even if they don't deliver today, it's a play that you have to do. You have to take. And we're going to get a lot of these profit makers at some point as well. The odds, you'll recall, very high, and they're still very high relative to the amount of time left. So I wouldn't be laying at those odds, and it looks a little illiquid as well. But you're looking at laying that draw, well, if we can get in, very, very short. 1.09. Again, 23 and 1.06. 32.
This market has been suspended.
Ah, that's the goal. That's probably the goal now. Is it the much needed goal? No, it's not. So it's very illiquid. So place your 106 and your 109. So that's 23. And then 1.06. 32. And we'll leave that. If it gets trodden on, brilliant. It's a must score a goal. So this is like Östersund. You've got to attack those very, very short odds, very, very late on. Brentford and Bournemouth. Now's the time to take Brentford on. I've already done the very short odds plays. And they could be being matched soon. 1.09. So well worth waiting for the sub 1. The death knells of the match, but still with enough time for a goal to be scored by a side like Bournemouth, who do know where the net is post 90th minute. Derby gone a bit little quiet post the.
This market has been suspended.
We're looking at that possibility. Get rid of that. Norwich. No in-play stats there for Norwich. Wolves. Well, you wouldn't be playing to lay that draw. Leeds make it 2-0. That's not a match of interest. Everton, West Ham. Is there enough time left for a goal? Wouldn't be too confident with a Sean Dyche side taking it a 0-0. It's either going to be 2 goals. It's feast or famine, isn't it, for Everton? Another unbeaten home match, I suppose, for West Ham. 14 shots off. Huddersfield gone a little quiet. The profitable plays were within the match, but this again draw, gettable late on. Not hearing much from our friends in Norway. Are they going to get themselves out of jail? Let's have a look. Any late plays here before we depart? That Coventry come from behind is what I expected last week, because they scored 3 goals in these 2 matches. So that's sod's law. You don't trust them on a day where you could have laid their opponent 2-0 up. Oh, man. Levanger have made it 2-3.
This market has been suspended.
Against the Sun. That lay the draw come in. Did we get any of ours matched? Levanger have cocked it up. But that's the pressure of needing a goal. They didn't get matched. If yours got matched, well done. Now, this is the big negative about having that huge gap and starting at 1.09. Had we got involved 1.25 and lower, we'd a few quid out of that. That's the Asani goal. It doesn't matter if Levanger score it. We're expecting Levanger to score it. We're expecting this draw to end. It should be 2-3. It's come up on Football 24.
This market has been suspended.
That was your profit if you've got involved there earlier than 1.09. That was your profit.
This market has been
I hope
suspended.
that's given you a taste for the end of the season. You've just seen it. I think 2-3 it is. It's showing that on the no? I don't know what the score is. It's come up as 2-3 to Asani, 90th plus minute. So I'm not sure about that. It's not come up here. It's 2-3.
This market has been suspended.
Crawley Huddersfield ends 2-2. Everton 0-0. Derby ends 1-1. Are we going to get Bournemouth? Probably not. Clocks, not their friend. I think Monaco could be a good second half play if you fancy the equaliser there. Really, real problems with the Champions League. That's led to the defeats. But I think the defeat against Nice was at Côte d'Azur was a local derby. It's not a drop in form. So that could. I'm going to leave you now. As you can see, it's a troubling week. It's probably going to have the same problem tomorrow. Fatigue for the big guns. That's the 2-3. There we go. That's confirmation of the goal. So if you got that, lay the draw in. I sincerely hope you got in before I did. If you start going at 1.09, you miss the possibility of that goal. anywhere between 1.1 and higher. So that's shot Levanger in the, I think.
This market has been suspended.
Yeah, look at that. They are relegated. So two great examples, Ostersund and the Levanger Asani, laying the late draw or laying a team leading. You can get some really short odds, big returns. So I hope. Thank you again, Bosun, for the reminder, particularly about Sweden, because that has ignited all this up. So over the weekend now, any matches
This market has been
Norway and
suspended.
Sweden of great interest. So we'll have a look tomorrow. You could really be. Let's just see. Elite Serien tomorrow. That's going on the shortlist straight away. Obosligen was today, so we're not going to get any of the Obosligen action. Sweden, we might see the Allsvenskan ending tomorrow, or maybe it ended last week. We'll have confirmation here, but we've got tomorrow for the Norwegians. So, no, Division 1. So I think the Allsvenskan and the Superettan is. So we've got the Norwegian Elite Serien tomorrow. We can have a quick look at that, preempt that before I leave. So we're going to get the Elite Serien. Who doesn't need anything? But I think this is still a little young, this league. Still, I think 3 or so matches remain. But still, particularly the relegation teams, if there's any sign that they can get out of jail, 23 plus 3 is 26, so they could immediately. But I think, so it's not panic stations just yet. It's not last match of the season, but do prepare yourself, because you'll still have matches of importance tomorrow, and there might be some teams with nothing to play for, or maybe not so with the top two, still neck and neck. Viking, plenty, still got a shout in with the title as well, and with the European places. They're in Europa League, Conference League at the moment. Mulder as well. Rosenborg still have an interest. Fred, only 4 points shy of Europe, have an interest. That's your sides to focus on for the end of the season. 34, they can't reach. KFUM, season over. Haugesund, 27, plus 3, 30, plus 3, 33. So we've got all the way up to HamKam, I think, in the relegation places. So plenty to look forward to tomorrow. I'm going to leave you now. I'll see you a little bit for a little bit longer. It's been a tough old day today, but it's a very good half goals. If you want to check this out yourself, November onwards might be good. This was a standout. Not. Liverpool Villa to come up. Will Aston Villa score that away goal? They've been suffering from the European plight, but Liverpool haven't. It's another over 2.5 goal match. 3-0, well, no, 2-0. But goal before half time in that one. Leganes and Sevilla to come up. Bochum and Leverkusen got that goal before half time. Overs. That was Bayer Leverkusen. Again, we got the Bayern Munich got the goal before half time. One as well. Leipzig and Mönchengladbach to come, I believe. Angers, PSG, Venezia, that was over 2.5 goals as well. So there is some hope with these. So I hope we can get a consistent set of shortlisters. That was overs today. Goal before half time, goal before half time. 3 goals from Real Madrid. 2-2. So plenty of action. That was ended 1-1. FC Köln last gasp goal in that match. So some of these not quite delivering, but a lot of them, like the Leeds, doing the business. What have we got coming up before I depart? Let's have a quick look, particularly the shorties. Paris Saint-Germain a bit later on. It's a Liverpool match. Leipzig and Mönchengladbach got overs sort of written on it. Cagliari have scored first against Milan, so we've automatically got a play here, I would say. This was one for over 2.5 goals as well. Fans with AC Milan's win midweek against Bayern Munich, if they're not fatigued from that, and they are one of those sides who can be troubled because they've got and they're coming off the back of that Champions League win, and they're away from home. Banana skin, but really momentum. So we've got a play already here, so fantastic stuff. That should be over 2.5 goals later on. And Hajduk split, so it's a bit lukewarm later on. But I'll be around for as many of them. Oh, don't forget, Brighton and Man City, fascinating away fixture. Don't forget, Man City 3 consecutive defeats, unheard of for Pep Guardiola. So for me, that's the motivating factor for Man City not to lose today. Scoring and conceding, we might see some interesting performances from Brighton today in the form of their life. But you'd be hoping that the fact that Manchester City are on a 3-match losing run is where you'll be looking for them to end that sequence in either a draw or an away win, of course. So fascinating matches coming up at 5:30. I'll say goodbye to you now. Thanks very much for coming along. Plays in, yeah, they're already out now. Thanks very much for coming along, and I'll see you on Telegram for the 5:30 kickoffs. Let's see if we can get any action in those. Have a great day.